How do you plan on dealing with Mike Madigan, where so many have failed?
All right.
He asked me about Mike Madigan. I met him once. I met him once after my election in 2011, and I think the way you deal with Mike Madigan is the same way you deal with President Cullerton, the same way you deal with Leader Durkin and Radonio, is you don't turn other people into cartoon characters. Politics is about statesmanship, it's about bringing people together, and it's about finding a path forward. Doesn't mean you always draw lines in the sand. I believe that, more importantly, if you're thinking about structural reform, there needs to be term limits on legislative leadership, so you don't end up in the same situation.
Term limits. Where do you stand on public financing of campaigns, which ultimately is the people's term limits?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sponsor on the City Council ordinance. We've been working with Common Cause on that for public financing. So I'm a supporter of public financing. The other thing that I would also remind people, and maybe I don't need to talk to you guys about this, but I need to talk to the general electorate, is that one of the things we have to also not fall for is if we do public financing, that's great. But that doesn't also change the fact that someone can bust the caps. So you have a self-funder. So we need to change the way the law reads for self-funding. Because our problem right now is Bruce Rauner's really got three people who's helping him out. Right? It's him, Dick Uihlein, and Ken Griffin. But he busts the cap by putting $100,000 of his own money into the race. So you can have public financing, but if you've got $100,000 of your own money to put in the race, and you're someone like Bruce Rauner, you're going to continue going back to your bank account and putting money in the race. So part of that means also recognizing that we don't fall for the cheap 30-second commercial that tells us that everything is broken and corrupt and terrible. But more importantly, forced conversations like the one we're having tonight, where candidates from both sides of the aisle have to face you and have a conversation about public policy. Because all of what I talked to you tonight, I can't boil into a tweet. I can't condense that into a Facebook post, and I cannot put that into a 10 or 30-second commercial on TV. It requires dialogue, and it requires actually going out and facing people. But if we continue to elect people based on viability, based on this idea that whoever gets on money, whoever has the most money can get on TV the most, well, then we're going to keep ending up in the same place again. And all the fixes like public financing, they're not going to stop self-funders. So it also means as voters that we also take our own participation to the next level and force candidates to have this conversation over and over and over again rather than just going to the airwaves.
Hi. First of all, I just want to thank Kathleen for putting this all together. She's doing a great job. My question is about violence. We all know the horror that is going on in Chicago. We have children dying daily, getting shot in drive-by shootings. This is also a state issue. You know, East St. Louis is a higher murder rate than Chicago. And my hometown of Kankakee, Illinois, is also seeing gang war going on. People dying every day. That's never happened before. And we all know these communities that are suffering this violence have been, you know, almost completely shut out from any investment for decades. We know that the long-term answer is to invest in these communities. But in the short term, what do we do to stop this daily horror of shootings?
Well, I think that's a great question. Do you want me to repeat it?
Please.
What do we do about violence, not just here in Chicago, but around the state, especially in communities that have seen major disinvestment, higher rates of poverty? Am I doing it justice? It's a great question. The thing is, there has to be a composite view of the problem, but more importantly, a holistic approach to solving it. So when I think about places like East St. Louis or Kankakee or other communities that have seen large employers leave for a variety of reasons, whether it's trade or whether it's automation, we've also let them wither on a vine for a generation or two, in some cases more, where there hasn't been any substantive investment. So if you zoom into East St. Louis, or you zoom into any struggling community, Flint, for example, where they lost a major industrial base, and you zoom in via Google Maps, and imagine you were to take the top layer off, the city, what you find is probably a 120-year-old water main system. And what you find in that old water main system is lead. And what ends up happening with that lead is that lead poisons the kids who drink from that water system. And now we know that there is a cognitive impact to development of children when they're exposed to higher rates of lead. We also know that if you have lead exposure at higher rates as a child, you're also more likely to be violent as a young adult. So if you think about how to actually solve this, it's not just jobs, it's not just rational approaches to gun control, it's not just poverty reduction, it's also investing in the basic building blocks of the community, like rebuilding the water main systems, so that you're not poisoning generation after generation of kids, and who also then don't grow up to be more violent simply because the local government, county government, or state government, or federal government looked the other way while the lead continued to poison kids generation after generation. So when I think about our jobs and capital bill and cutting a new deal between your state government and communities, it has to be a comprehensive approach. It's not just putting people back to work. It's solving this problem from a generational standpoint. And so I think in the near term, it is jobs. In the near term, it is mental health services. It is wraparound social services. But it also has to include investing in the community and investing in ways like rebuilding their water system, so we as a society and our government is not poisoning it.